I'm
There we go.
going to call this meeting to order. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons,
Here.
Mrs. Shandy,
Here.
Mr. Wilburn,
Here.
Mrs. Yanez,
Here.
Mr. Salt.
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance this evening will be led by Colonel Stallworth.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Tonight we have Edith Wolford Elementary School and Village High School here for our board spotlight. If you all could stay after you're done and until after the superintendent spotlight, we'd love to take some pictures and we've got a little gift for you. We will start with Edith Wolford. Miss Yanez.
Edith Wolford is a small community-centered school located in the heart of Black Forest. Wolford's origin began as the Black Forest School in a one-room log schoolhouse that still sits on the corner of Black Forest and Shoup. We take pride in the number of multi-generational families that continue to attend Wolford and are especially proud to don the mascot of the Albert Squirrel. Please welcome Principal Robin Lowry.
Excited to be here and to have you witness an incredible video that was put together by one of our stupendous kindergarten teachers, Raina Siba. I have to give her credit because she had shared that she had a personal goal to work on videos this year, and I asked her for, hey, are you up for a challenge? I hope you will find it as extraordinary as we have found it. And then after the video, we have 4 of our student council officers that you will get to hear from and hear about their learning experiences outdoors. Thank you. So our outdoor learning spaces really came back to life. We lost our outdoor learning space across Elementary Drive after the Black Forest fire. And with COVID, we were presented opportunity to get students outside more. And so we really leaned into that opportunity and partnered with our PTO. And as a result, over the last 5 years, we've been able to grow our outdoor spaces to include tree stump circle spaces. We have now a shade structure with containers for storage. And Eagle Scout just completed a pollinator garden and brought that back to life for us. And it's just an amazing environment for students to get outdoors, continue their learning, and be with nature.
I love doing the outdoor learning here at Edith Wolford. One of the things that I like the best about this is that not only is it just easily accessible for the students, but one of the ways that we can incorporate more of a tactile learning environment. We get to bring the manipulatives outside. We get to look and learn from nature itself, rather than just point to the learning in the book or make them watch a video. It really does help the students realize we are surrounded by nature and to learn from it.
My favorite thing about the outdoor classroom is the garden, because there's in the summer and spring plants sprout, and and I like seeing the flowers and other plants. So my favorite thing about the being outdoors is when we released our roly-polies. My thing about being outside is also releasing our roly-polies, but I also like stump painting. Same. My favorite thing outside was releasing the roly-polies, and I released mine by the trees, so it can have like a big shelter area. I also released mine by the trees. It was like those shady trees. There's shady trees over there, and that's where I put mine. I put mine in a giant pile. We put ours because as a table, we chose a giant pile of dirt because roly-poly, and it was wet. So because roly-poly is really, really like wet, moist dirt. So we put our roly-polies there. And then I also like planting trees in first grade. Yeah, planting trees was super fun. Yeah. I did it with our 4th grade buddies when we were in 1st grade.
Our classroom is so important to our kids because they have a great connection to nature and being outdoors and enjoying fresh air.
And I know it's just a lot of cool new ways of learning that's different from being in the classroom with a pen and paper. They get to actually manipulate things and put their hands on things, and it's so regulating for them emotionally, and it's physically, yes, everything. It's really cool. So, really like it. Yeah.
My favorite thing whenever I come outside is doing some magic and my favorite thing outside is making burritos, pine cone burritos.
I think the outdoor learning classroom is really important because I think it allows students to get in touch with nature. We offer mindfulness walks on different trails. We have lots of outdoor opportunities where students can engage in outdoor activities along with academic activities. Several places where the students have stumps that they can read on or engage in a group activity. It's just been a really great way for us to incorporate different styles of learning and getting kids outdoors.
I feel so lucky to be at Edith Wolford because we have 5 acres plus the space of our playground where we can take our learning outside. One of my favorite memories and something that we actually do every year in 1st grade is we do a Camp Learned a Lot where we come outside, we have solar ovens to make our lunch or s'mores. We will do hammocks and tents to do reading and writing in. It's just a really great way to build community and also to show the kids how important it is that we're responsible for our planet and taking care of our outdoors. And so there's just a better connection there.
Hi, my name is Cody Royal, and I am the student council president at Edith Wolford. A couple of activities that I've enjoyed at the outdoor classroom is I remember in kindergarten with our 5th grade buddies, we planted trees, and it's kind of cool to see them grow through the years. And in 1st and 3rd grade, we got to raise like butterflies from larvae to kind of like the final stage and then release them. And this year with our kindergarten buddies, we got to, kind of like the video said, we got to make bird feeder pine cone bird feeders, and we got to hang those pretty much wherever we wanted, and that was pretty special. And the outdoor classroom is just an amazing learning space for everyone. Hi, I'm Rosalind Kirk. I'm a 5th grader and student council officer at Edith Wolford. A couple of things that I have enjoyed in the outdoor classroom are the solar ovens that I did with my class year last year. And we made s'mores. And I think that outdoor learning is like really nice and it helps me refresh my brain. And the air is like super clean.
Hello, I am Eleanor Lukaska. I am a 5th grade officer. A few things I like about our outdoor learning space is the field day hosted by our PE teacher. You donate money, and every lap you do, the more money donated to the school. And when we did bird feeders with our kindergarten buddies.
Hi, my name is Dominic Rawlings. I am a 5th grade I'm the 5th grade wellness officer. I think our outdoor learning spaces are cool because we get to learn about some animals and some plants. And we get to study the details of them and the plants in our nature journals.
All right, thank you so much. That was great. Next up is Village High School. The blended nature of Village High School allows for more experiences out of the building for student learning, including field trips, job shadows, internships, etc. The school houses a white bus, and most staff members of the village hold a white bus license, allowing them to take students out of the building and into the community all day, every day. Please welcome Principal Lindsay Keller.
Thank you. A core belief at Village High School is that often our most powerful learning happens outside the walls of our school. This has never been more evident than through the work of our civics and law team this past semester, who facilitated and attended alongside students in powerful learning experiences in the past few months. It is my belief that perhaps there's never been a more critical time for our young people to understand the processes, systems, and people in their democratic government. And I couldn't be more proud of this instructional team for building learning experiences for these students and doing the hard work that it takes to make them happen. And for these, I'm also proud of these students who delve deeply into their learning, ask the hard questions, and participate fully. So I'm going to surrender the rest of my time for a handful of them to share with you a little bit about some of those experiences throughout the past several months. Thank you. Izzy?
Hi, I'm Izzy Zarowski, and I'm part of the Village's civics class. My most memorable moment was when we went to the governor's mansion. We learned all about the history, and that was really cool. I learned that it's not the first governor whose furniture is in the house, it's the second governor's. All of his furniture is still in the house, which is really cool. I also ate lunch at the Capitol that day. You can just kind of walk in there, and they have a little convenience store, which is super awesome. And then we went to the Supreme Court house. We got to talk to a judge all about his experience and things like that. We also got to sit in the Supreme Court room and like learn all about the like 7 Supreme Court justices, and that was just really awesome. I also got a job offer from the LED minor operative, so we kind of like, my friend Claire will talk more about that, but yeah.
Okay, I'm Claire, and an opportunity that I got from civics class was Izzy and I went and volunteered at the hot air balloon liftoff for Labor Day. So we did that. It was like 4:30 in the morning to 10 in the morning, and we worked at the Olympic City USA booth. And there we really promoted this thing called 1,000 Neighborhood Gatherings, which is something that our mayor developed. And so we were having people pledge to host a neighborhood gathering to really build community and help just socialize and bring our community close together. Also for civics, we had 2 people who work for the state come in and talk about this minor operative job where you can apply and then they'll drive you out to these places and you like try and like get like overage stuff, and if they ID you, they're good, but if you don't ID you, then you bust them. And so that was really cool and really exciting, and Izzy and I are both in the process of getting hired right now, and that wouldn't have been possible without civics, so it's completely safe.
Hi, my name is Megan. So my most memorable moment from civics this year was attending a naturalization ceremony in Denver, as well as a tour of the Capitol building. So at the naturalization ceremony, we got to hand the new citizens little American flag as well as their families. We got to watch the ceremony and they each said a little something about their native country. And then afterwards, we lined the bottom of the stairs they were coming down and we got to cheer for them and clap for them. And there were a lot of happy tears that day. It was a very good day. It was very memorable. And then afterwards, at the tour of the Capitol, we got to talk with 2 state representatives and ask them questions about how they got there and just how, like, their day-to-day lives. And none of that would have been possible without civics. So it's very cool.
Hello, my name is Wyatt. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect when I was going into civics this year. I'd heard a lot of things, but as I went into these field trip opportunities, I really got to engage with a lot of local communities. And my favorite moment that I got was when I got to volunteer for the 9/11 ceremony that the mayor did at Memorial Park. It was really amazing just to see everyone there, all of the local government officials. And I even got a chance to speak with the mayor himself, which was really awesome to just be able to talk with him and see how amazing of a person he is. It was just a great experience to kind of get into the actual community and see what local government looks like, because it's often overshadowed by the larger news government that kind of always is shown in the media.
Hello, my name is Roan Holes, and I'm going to be talking about one of our field trips that we went on. So we decided to take a closer look at Colorado Springs. So we decided to go to the city administration building, where we got to see their inner workings of Colorado Springs. We met with Mayor Yemi's one of his close personal advisors, and we talked about Mayor Yemi's term and what he's trying to bring to Colorado Springs. And then in the afternoon, we went to the traffic center where we got to look at, streets. We saw a different look at it. So there's cameras on every stoplights, and so we got to take a look at those. And it was really cool seeing more everyday things that from a different perspective.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia Budge. I have the chance to speak about working at the voting polls during the last presidential election. This experience really allowed me to see how determined and excited people are to participate in the democratic system. A moment that stood out to me the most was seeing first-time voters proudly drop their ballot in the box and really feel like the secondhand excitement from them. It made me realize how important it is to have a voice in your community and the sense of empowerment that voting brings. As a high school student, being part of this large civic system made me value how important it is to be active in my community. And at the voting polls, not just helping people, but it made me realize how much of an impact we have in our future. And thanks to this experience and others from this class, I have been inspired to really engage in civic activities and encourage other people to do the same. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That was great to hear about that experience. All right. Ms. Matson-Bonet, are there any updates to the agenda?
There were updates to the agenda and the board was notified of these.
Members of the board, are there any items you wish to move from the consent agenda? Are there any discussion items to be added to the agenda? May we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons,
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy,
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn,
Aye.
Mrs. Yanez,
Aye.
Mr. Salt.
Aye. Thank you. Tonight's board quote is from Colonel Stallworth.
Thank you. Tonight's board quote that I selected: "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step" by Lao Tzu. And I felt like this was a pretty appropriate quote, particularly this time of year as we look to end the year and start with a new year. And it really doesn't matter necessarily how large your goals are, how overwhelming your tasks may be. It's really about just starting, right? And really and truly, I can remember being a senior in high school back in 19 and just really kind of lost in what I was going to do with life necessarily, and talking to you all seniors here, and it really was about finding what your passion is and just getting started. Really and truly, and I'm here 24 years later in the Air Force as a living witness, and thankful to those people who pushed me to just get started, even if I didn't know what the next steps were going to look like. So thank you.
Thank you. That's a great message. Next, our board comments. This is also going to be our time to debrief from our CASB conference. So Colorado Association of School Boards, the state school board association all of us attended at least part of the conference. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this past week. So this is our debrief portion. And then any other comments you have. Ms. Shandy?
As far as the CASB business items that we went over, we had 4 resolutions. One, let's see here. Yeah, 3 were passed and 1 was tabled because we didn't have the full information yet. And so it was pushed off again until what will be now September. And that had to do with the GED accounting thing. Official word there thing. And then as far as the CASB conference, one of my favorite sessions that Ginger and Nicole got to go to was the introducing forward from polarization to progress, really breaking down how you come from, how you can get to different sides to kind of come together on a topic. And it was really, really great to work through that and learn the steps and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. So thank you for letting me go.
Ms. Collins?
It was wonderful to be together with our superintendent and board at the conference and get to see old and new friends from other school boards across the state. I'm probably going to cry right now because I'm going to talk about the keynote speaker on Saturday. And his name is Alex Boye, B-O-Y-E. I'm spelling it for you so you check it out, okay? I think he was a America's Got Talent winner. His family originates from Nigeria, so just real cool kind of African flavored music. But he's got a heart for mental health and wellness for young people. And I admire him so much for using this fame that he's coming into to just get out with especially young people, but all ages, to empower us to know our worth. And he has a book called I Am a 10, which I bought for both of my daughters. Don't tell them, for Christmas. But basically he asked for, the best thing was there were hundreds of students from around the state, students in leadership that were in the speech with him. It wasn't just all older people, all the board people. So they got the benefit of that, but there was not a dry eye in the house. And he asked for a volunteer who had a $10 bill. So a young high school woman came up with a $10 bill, and he said, I promise I'll give it back. But he started mangling, crunching up the $10 bill, threw it on the ground, stomping on it, yelling at it, I hate you, all this stuff. And he got it, brought it back up in front of the young woman and said, okay, what do you think about this $10 bill now? And she said, it still holds value. And so that was the message to everybody, that no matter what anyone says to you, no matter how you trash talk to yourself, which I think we're all guilty of way too much, no matter what happens in your life, you still are a 10, every one of you. And so that was the most moving part about the conference for several hundred of us to get to be a part of.
Inez?
Well, I didn't have a board comment until I heard Cody from Edith Wolford speak tonight. So Cody, I think you're still out there. Okay. Over Thanksgiving break, I got to go back to Chicago and the suburb that I grew up in. And I went on my little memory walk. So I walked the same path from my mom's house to school. And there's still a lot of the same cracks in the sidewalk. And there's this weird spot on one of the blocks of concrete that I swear to you looks like a mouse fell into wet concrete. I swear that's what happened. I have to write a children's book about it someday. But when I was in 5th grade, I had a 1st grade buddy and we planted trees. And I got to plant an Alberta spruce. And it was in this little path that became a nature path for the very first time, this groundbreaking ceremony. And believe it or not, even though it's 40 years later, oh my goodness. Albertina Lillian, that's what I named her, is still growing strong on one side of this path. And my friend Kate planted another tree, but I don't remember the name. I should text her and ask her. But I just want you to know that those are the things you hold on to. I just visited my tree 40 years later.
Mr. Wilburn, did you have any comments this evening?
I do. And my comments don't so much surround CASB as I was only able to attend a half of one day this year, unfortunately. But I've got several other things. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone in the room and people watching online, people all around the community. As some of you know with the specific details, some of you don't. But I recently had a very significant, a very serious medical condition, very traumatic. Came up real fast and could have been much worse than it was. But the outpouring of support from this board, the community members, the administration, everybody. I've gotten so many messages, phone calls, texts, flowers. My house has never smelled any better because of all the flowers around here. People dropping off meals. It's just good to be loved. And I want you all to know that I've heard you. I appreciate you. I am on the way back. I'm on the mend. I'm getting better. Would have been a lot worse, but by the grace of God, it wasn't. And I'll be back in the room and back doing what we all do here very soon. But just thank you all. Thank you for being just such amazing people. This is my first meeting since the election. I, of course, wasn't able to be on in December, so I want to circle back to the November elections and just throw a couple shouts out real quick. We won a tremendous victory with bond issue 4B. The community spoke very loudly. 58% to 42% is extremely decisive, and that doesn't happen without a team effort. All the people in the administration, Mr. Belcher and so on and so forth, but the community came together. A lot of volunteers in District 20. Andrea Slattery, who co-chaired the Yes on 4B committee. Chris and Don Garofalo drove all over the place putting signs in the ground. Mrs. Chukas, of course, who's perpetually a West Side advocate. The community, these sorts of things, this is a true team effort to deliver to our district a tremendous facility. And I'm very, very grateful to everybody that just did what they had to do, picked up a shovel, grabbed an oar, helped row the boat the same direction. And lastly, Mr. Salt, I want to thank you personally. What you and Presidents Thompson and Malpacum did from Districts 49 and 11 respectively was very courageous, the right thing to do. Didn't get the entire outcome that you were looking for, but the fact that you stood up to do the right thing, to do everything in your power to help keep drugs away from our children, away from our schools, that's leadership. You knew there'd be pushback, you knew there'd be blowback, there always is, that's just how life works. But you stood up and said, I'm doing everything in my power to, why anybody would be against keeping drugs away from our schools is a mystery, but you stood up knowing that there was going to be fire even if you did. And that's something that I appreciate about your personality. Very well done, my friend. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Wilburn. Glad you're feeling better. We look forward to having you back with us in the room soon. As for CASB, I had an enormous time. I always enjoy getting to go and network with friends from across the state. Had a wonderful time. Actually went to a session with St. Vrain where they were talking about their community partnerships and how they've been able to build out career pathways and CTE centers with some very big name companies that are dumping a lot of money into their program. They've got two things that I think were just phenomenal. Their buses, and one of them was a STEM bus. The other was a cybersecurity bus. Their cybersecurity bus was on site, so we could go in and tour it. And you walk in, it's a little mini bus, and you walk in. They've got chairs and counters and laptops and servers, and it's basically a cybersecurity escape room that the kids are put in, and they have to start, network scanning and doing all of the cyber stuff to figure it out. They take 10 or 15 at a time, and so it was a really cool kind of application of the skills that they're learning in some of those programs like we have at Pine Creek. and just it's mobile, so they can drive around the different schools. Same with their STEM. Their STEM was focused, I believe it was more on the elementary level, but it's the same where it's a mobile like STEM lab that they can drive around to the different schools. And I thought that was a really interesting idea and execution. So really enjoyed that, and went to another session that I really enjoyed. It was actually the next session that was talking about board's role and planning. And so there are a couple of things that I wanted to bring back. I'll probably work with Mark on a couple communication pieces as far as it's just internal stuff, just visuals and way that they're processing and how we visualize what those plans are. So just a heads up, couldn't have told you that when I talked to you 20 minutes before the meeting, but I'm talking to you now. But some really interesting ideas in the way that they had executed that. It was from down south, S logo, I can't remember. Salida, they're not south, Salida, that's where they were the ones who were hosting that event, and it was a great job. So those are all of my comments. Last call on board comments. Colonel Stallworth, did you have anything? Yeah, that's fine, go ahead.
So I just wanted to really quickly to the parents and caretakers with kids in Air Academy and Douglas Valley. Just wanted to clear up the weather reporting and how that goes. I know there's been some confusion here with the last couple of snow instances that we've had. When USAFA makes a call to close the installation, it does not mean that that the gates are closed themselves. You will still have access to your loved ones and be able to get onto the installation if you need to. Just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that. It doesn't. It typically involves those folks who are working on USAFA and are mission essential personnel only, and so medical services may be impacted, child and youth services, but it does not impact the school district or the schools that are on the installation. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. That's a great reminder. Appreciate that. All right. I've been informed we have a new admin.
Well, sort of. Okay, so tonight I'm going to introduce Chris Garnhart, who's being recommended as the Executive Director for Building Fund. Now, let me explain. You may think, well, he already does that, right? He's already in that role. So the reason we have to do this again is because that was based on the 2016 bond, which was those positions were temporary in nature just till the projects were finished, and those projects are scheduled to be completed by the end of this school year, June 2025. So we have a new bond that was passed, and so because of that, that starts the process over, and we have to rehire those positions, and because they are related to that bond, not the current bond that we're under. So that's why it's a little bit different. So yes, let me just tell you a little bit about Chris's background. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Construction Technology from Indiana State University. He also began his career at Fred Fleetmeyer General Contractors as a field engineer and a superintendent. And Norwest Banks as a construction manager, then worked in D11 as a project manager, maintenance manager, and director of facilities, not all at the same time. And then he's served 6 years as the board of director for Colorado Association of School Business Officials, or CASBO. And he currently serves on the board as a board of directors for the Colorado School Plant Managers Association. And he is currently serving as an executive director for the building fund for the 2016 bond. Also, you know, when you do construction, you got to be flexible, right? Because there's all these things that happen. Well, he's the man for the job, because I don't know if you knew, he used to be a gymnast. Matter of fact, he told me he could do a backflip right here tonight if we wanted him to, but he also said, I may not be able to come to work tomorrow if I do that. So we're not going to ask him to do that. Chris, is there anything you'd like to say?
First of all, I'm not going to do a handstand, a cartwheel, or a backflip tonight. I might injure myself, and my body took a pretty good beating during my gymnastics career, so probably not the best idea for me to do that, but you never know. I think what may happen is my current staff that I work with is probably going to prod at me a little bit and convince me to do that at some point in time. So First and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife who's here, Andrea, and my son Andrew and my daughter Kristen. That's my family. They have always been supportive of anything that I do, and without them, you don't go very far in life. Second of all, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to proceed into this next bond program. Hopefully, I'll do you proud. I'm pretty sure that I will. And then I would also like to thank the interview committee that interviewed me, which consisted of Cameron Smart, Becky Allen, Jared Hogenstein, Kathy Watts, and Pete Ristick. And then you can't execute or manage a bond program or any construction program anywhere without a fantastic team. It's not a one-person show, that's for sure. And tonight there are two of my current team members that have joined in support of me. I got Eldrick Hill there, and then I got Connie Yen, and then the other teammate that could not attend tonight is Kate Harrison. They have been extremely important in the success of the 2016 bond. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Glad to have you still / back on board. All right, next is the superintendent update. Superintendent Haber.
Well, board, I want to start out again with a huge thank you to our community. I am so grateful that we have a community that supports our schools. It's demonstrated in the passing of 4B, our bond initiative. And so we have a little slice of appreciation for our amazing community. We are just so grateful to live here in our community. Academy District 20, Team 1, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your overwhelming support of the 2024 bond. This incredible milestone is a testament to our shared commitment to the future of our students and schools. Your vote will transform schools across District 20, ensure our facilities meet the needs of every student, and build a new Air Academy High School that will inspire students for a generation to come.
I want to say thank you from everybody here at Air Academy for passing the bond that is going to help us rebuild Air Academy and also create a center of excellence that is going to be accessible to all Academy School District 20 students. It's a fabulous time to be a KDAT, so thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and go KDATs.
I just would like to say thank you to everyone who voted yes on it. Thank you that now, because of you guys, we have the chance to start new and have a new building.
We will continue with the love and care of Air Academy that we've always done, and we'll just be able to do it in a new facility, which really means a lot to us.
We are going to be able to improve a lot of the infrastructure that needs to be done and allow our schools to focus on the education of our students and put our budgets towards the education of our students.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting Challenger Middle School.
I am so excited that the community supported D20 and passed the bond. We are looking forward to transforming this particular space into an amazing space for our CTE programs and for bringing in esports. Thank you.
Your support of the 2024 bond is paving the way for exciting progress across Academy District 20. We'll keep you updated on these plans through regular communication posted on our website at asd20.org. Thank you for believing in our students, staff, and schools. So again, thank you, community, for your support. Issues to the community. So also prior to the November election, educational information board was available regarding the tax impact of the $83.14 million bond. And if you recall, it was shared that even if the bond were to pass, the bond levy would decrease from last year. We estimated the decrease to be 1.019 mils if the bond passed. And at the end of November, we received D20's final assessed valuation from El Paso County Assessor's Office. So now we know the exact decrease, and I am pleased to share that the bond levy decreased even more than 1.019 mils, with the actual decrease being 1.281 mils. So it's more good news, which is awesome. So next, I am just thrilled to announce and to congratulate Liz Walhoff, Assistant Principal for Air Academy High School. She was just named High School Assistant Principal of the Year for Colorado Association of School Executives for the state of Colorado. Liz has worked for D20 since 2018, and as an assistant principal at Air Academy High School, she oversees the English and World Language departments, and she was also in charge of developing Air Academy High School's career academies and the school's assessment coordinator, and has been instrumental in building high-quality professional learning communities throughout the campus. Her leadership also extends beyond D20, as she has served on many statewide committees as well. People are the heart of our success in D20, as you know, and Liz really exemplifies this mark of excellence in our district. She goes above and beyond to ensure that every student feels valued and affirmed, and she always has a warm embrace of kindness for both students and staff, and inspires all to create a culture of care at Air Academy High School. So Liz Walhoff, come forth, please, and be recognized. And I believe that Dan Olson is also here. Yes. Liz, please share with us.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to be a thing. Well, thank you. And I'm super excited. And I know none of us, especially the volunteers here, do this because we are really looking for all of the attention or the accolades. But man, it feels good to get them every now and again. So my hope is that you all, whoever is here at this meeting, go home and as you're out and about, recognize somebody who's doing a really awesome job and make sure you tell them that, because boy, it feels nice. And so all the kudos go to my teams. I have some of them here who I love so very much, and the parents and the kids and the staff here at Air Academy who are just fabulous. This isn't about me, it's about them and our district. So
thank you so much, Liz. Let's give it up for her. It's a huge honor. So here are some of my school visits since our last board meeting. And as we're talking about schools, I'm going to follow up a little bit on weather since Colonel Stallworth also brought that up. So as you know, Academy District 20 has been evaluating the snow day policy for some time now. And we are balancing the concept of those traditional snow days with the use of e-learning to maintain a predictable school calendar. And recently, multiple groups, including the Academy Education Association and multiple students, approached our team to advocate for adding more traditional snow days for students and staff. As a matter of fact, when I was at the Sources of Strength celebration that we had here, a middle school student came up to me and said that they had the petition, and I said, I would love to meet with you. So I know Mary's been going back and forth with that student to see if we can have some students come and meet with me and formally propose what they would like to do. So as a district committed to continuous improvement, we are so proud to be able to have launched a survey today to gather broad community input on this important topic. The voice of our stakeholders really do matter, and we really look forward to understanding the multiple perspectives that are represented within our community on this topic. So parents and staff across all levels and our students, our secondary students, I believe, were asked about to fill out the survey, and we'll close our survey on December 23rd. And really, we encourage staff and students and families to engage in the survey. And then we'll be excited to bring the results back to you in January. And also a special thank you to Pine Creek High School for inviting us to attend an AP government event with one of the U.S. Supreme Court justices. And a huge shout out to AP government teacher Ty Allen, who arranged this event. And we were given, so I had a chance to go, and Director Cons and we both attended, and we had a chance to watch students interact with a Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch. And I think I can speak for you, Nicole. We were both in awe of just the thoughtful questions that our students proposed, and just the gracious and wise shared thoughts that he had with the students. One student asked if he had ever, if it was ever hard for him, did he ever have to make a hard decision that did not align with his personal values? And he said yes, but he said his primary responsibility was to uphold the Constitution. So I know that really was something that stuck with me, that I really appreciated about this Supreme Court justice. And again, just a huge thank you to Principal Karina Bierman for inviting us and encouraging us to attend. Director Cons, do you have anything else you want to share?
Well, you pretty much said it all.
Oh.
You captured a funny little note that I just told our security director, Payne, but I was under the assumption that he was there in person. So I showed up to Pine Creek and scared the living daylights out of their security staff because I said, where's Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch going to be? And they were like, what? Why isn't there more security here? Where's all the Secret Service people or whatever? So I got in, and then 4 minutes later, I see the big screen, and it's via Zoom, but it was kind of funny. But I am thrilled that I went. Yes, the students asked brilliant questions that I never would have even thought of, gave so much insight. He was so gracious and down to earth. And something else aside from what Superintendent Haber said that stuck with me is someone asked a question along the lines of, what is the biggest issue facing young people today? And he came out of left field with something not a lot of people expected. And he basically said something to the effect of, a lot of our young folks don't have enough gratitude for the country we live in and the Constitution we live under. And I've said that to people in my realm before, that my generation included, we haven't had to face a lot of, world wars and Great Depressions and famines and stuff like that. We are blessed in this country. And we, for the most part as a country, we have it pretty easy in this day and age. And for him to point that out, just to count our blessings for all the good that we do have in this country, and to work hard to honor the Constitution we have in this wonderful country we live in, was really enlightening to hear.
That's good. Thank you, Director Cons. So, and then Director Shandy and I had a wonderful opportunity to get a behind the scenes tour with CT Automotive Technology program at Liberty High School with RJ Savage, our automotive technology instructor. During our visit, we checked out a senior project by Javier Jackson of Pine Creek. Javier is completely rebuilding a Honda Civic to eventually race on paved road courses. This project included a complete engine rebuild with modifications to support a turbocharger, as well as improved suspension and brakes. Mr. Savage shared multiple examples of how students graduated and got real high-paying jobs right out of high school. And his program is one of the only, I think the only one in the state that teaches students how to evaluate the functioning of those computers that are in our car. I hear there's multiple computers in our car that keep our cars running. And he basically used grant money to buy a very expensive kit that's giving students our training, and he's already getting calls from automotive companies saying, tell us when your students graduate and pass the certification for that, because we're ready to hire them right now. So that was super exciting, and a huge shout out to Mr. Savage, and just the commitment he has to our students. It was really, I found that really inspirational. Director Shandy, and is there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I second just what Mr. Savage is doing at that program and the level that he is taking our students with their readiness skills coming out, and the auto industry is just swallowing them up. So you can, the Snap-on Certification Diagnostic Center right there you see in the picture is one in not just Colorado, but most of America, I think is what he said. So it's incredible that his vision and his drive and inspiration for that program, what it's doing for our students and for D20.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. So glad I got to see it. I'm a little jealous it wasn't around when I was in school. So.
Yes, absolutely. We had a great visit at Academy Endeavor Elementary School where they're really focusing on learning literacy and how to do presentations. So she shared, Principal Hansen shared this really fun video, is short, of our students. So I wanted to share that with you as well. So read with expression and not like a robot. That was the takeaway on that. So that was really fun. And we're so glad that Principal Henson shared that with us. Went to Discovery Canyon, and it was really exciting to talk with Principal Scott. He is, his teachers are really getting excited about the use of AI to take what they're learning in one subject and combine it with another. So this class was learning about gross jobs, and one of them was a plumber. No offense to plumbers, but sometimes, there's some stuff that most of us probably wouldn't want to deal with. And so she took all of the vocabulary from the gross jobs unit and put it into ChatGPT, asked ChatGPT to also put that vocabulary into some word problems that they were doing around two-digit subtraction. So the students, we were in there, and they were so excited to see how what they were learning about plumbers and other jobs was actually embedded in their math lesson. And some of the math questions were very much related to what people in those jobs would actually have to encounter. So that was just such a great way to see how we can use some of these technology tools to take the workload off of teachers and allow them to allow AI to be a thought partner and help put some of those amazing connections together. So that was really fun to see. Explorer Elementary, I know that we were excited to see how they were using virtual reality, and Principal Driver, we got to see Ireland and Alaska through the VR glasses, and so glad that our students are having these opportunities here in D20. At Encompass Heights, I had a chance to go to their holiday meal. They served 1,400 guests and students. It was on November 15th. They collected a combined monetary and food donation of 4,368 cans of food. And they were able to create 25 boxes of food for family at Mount Ridge Middle School and a big box of cake mixes and candles and frostings for the D20 Resource Center. And the photo on the left is actually Principal Sturkle's mom. And I thought that was important because her name is Pam Logley, and she was a school nurse in Academy District 20 from 1986 to 2007. And she said when she started, she was just one of 2 nurses in the entire district, and she comes every year still to help out with the fees. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did a lot of feasting before Thanksgiving and during Thanksgiving. So I had a chance to go to Edith Wolford, and that was really fun. They had 43 members and 179 adult guests and 21 non-student child guests join the students. And it was just a great time. It's so fun to see how excited the students get when their parents and grandparents are there with them at school. And it was just a wonderful celebration. And then we have sports celebrations. So this one was Air Academy High School Boys Soccer. They won They won state in 4A, and I know that Director Shandy was there, and she caught this last moment.
4A boys soccer state champs. This year's state champions comes by Ashburn. With Slade.
So no doubt there was some major excitement around that, and I really appreciate Director Shandy. Sure. Then we had another wonderful sports celebration, and it was congratulations to Village High School girls volleyball team for winning state in 3A. And I believe that we have soccer team members and Village High School volley team members here. Could you guys stand, please? And can we please give you a hand? And please stay after because we want to be sure to get your picture. And then another sports team celebration. Congratulations to the Classical Academy football team. They won state in 2A. And I believe that TCA President Dr. Thomason and some of his folks are here. Would you please stand up and be so we can celebrate your team? And again, we'd love to get your picture too at the end here. We just have so much talent. And there's the Classical Academy. We have so much talent and so many great things happening here in D20. I had a chance to go to 2 fall plays. Rampart, just an outstanding play, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I know Director Yanez, you got to see that too. What was your highlight from that?
So I got my tickets kind of late and sat in the front row, but note to self, do that all the time because I got the seat where like all the characters kept, falling and sliding towards. It was really interactive and super fun. One of my favorite stories, and just to see the kids take on it was fantastic. It was really an intelligent musical. It's very well done.
And that bottom picture, it was so cute. There's actually kids under there that are acting as a horse. And they were carrying him around on the stage. I just thought that was brilliant. It was so fun. That was my favorite thing to watch. And then Pine Creek High School, they did a fabulous job with the community garden, very thoughtful. And the students are up there. They were just such naturals on stage. So I know I really enjoyed that production as well. And then we had our Sources of Strength celebration. As you know, Sources of Strength really supports our students with social emotional well-being. And I just see the evidence of the wheel that they use, which just demonstrates what are those different strengths that students need to lean into during difficult times, such as family support, positive friends, healthy activities, generosity, spirituality, medical access, and mental health. And on November 21st, over 70 peer leaders and 20 adult advisors came together to really share what they were doing across the district. It was just a true time to celebrate all of these efforts. So huge shout out to our Sources of Strength program. And more great celebrations, ASD Security Team Giving Tree. For the past several years, the Academy District 20 security team has provided their assistance to St. Francis of Assisi Catholic Church with their annual Giving Tree Exchange program. This year on Wednesday, December 11th, our patrol team, they're going to be collecting did collect hundreds of gifts from the church and distributed the gifts to our community. And it especially provides gifts for disadvantaged families and students in our district that they may not have received gifts for Christmas. And I see Buck standing back there, so let's give it up for our security team. And we are rolling forward with our design, which has been so fun, around the new PK8 for Douglas Valley. So I had a chance to go with several parents and D20 staff members on a field trip with RTA Architectural Group, and a huge thanks to Chris for him organizing this along with RTA. We went to a school in Cherry Creek, Denver, and Jefferson County, just to look at the different architectural designs. And I think what a takeaway for all of us is that we really liked the examples where there was plenty of natural lighting, outdoor classroom spaces, and these collaboration areas outside of each of the grade levels. So we look forward to future design meetings, which we already had one, and I'll show you a picture of that here in a minute. Also, at CASB, I literally ran into a colleague of mine. Her name's Dr. Starla Pearson. She was one of my colleagues from Aurora, and she was the principal at Aurora Frontier for several years, and then she supervised Kate principals. And I was just standing there, and I had been thinking about her. I thought, how do I get a hold of her? And she literally came up and tapped me on the shoulder. I'm like, oh my gosh, Starla, I've been thinking about you. So we have someone now, too, that will be able to link Adrian up with to help support her with what does a Kate look like, what does a scheduling look like around that, and there's also some other principals that we're working with. So we're really creating a network of support for our first PK8. The Anxious Generation book study. We had, again, about over 100 folks in the here at the EAC, as well as several, about 70, I think, online. And again, just a huge thank you to Dr. Field and Dr. Koselek and their organization of this amazing community-wide learning. When we all learn together, we're able to do better for our students. And I took a picture of this amazing group of parents. They just randomly sat together, and it turns out they all have fourth graders. They're all in different schools, and they're really excited about that idea of having non-structured play. So they came up with the idea of Feral Fridays, and they want to bring their students together on a regular basis to have unstructured play. And so it was really fun to see a group not only enjoying and talking about what we were learning, but also taking some action on what they were learning. I think another big takeaway that I heard as I was going around to different parent groups is just how can we help our students learn how to responsibly use social media if they're going to use social media, and also the use of their cell phones. How can we teach them and support them in a productive way to engage with that technology? So this was our first design group for the PK8. We just met last week, and I just am really appreciative of RTA, our new architectural group. We are planning on going out to a PK8 in Pueblo next Thursday. So we're going to continue to look at some different designs, and we're excited about that. And then you guys have already shared out about CASB. I think you hit over on the right. There is Alex Boye, our presenter that you talked about. He was amazing and just really talked about the importance of mental health and how do we really take care of each other, and always being out on the lookout for, maybe students who are sitting by themselves, do they feel connected, or staff members for that matter, and just always having that awareness and trying to really create that culture of care. So thank you, board members. I'm so glad we had that chance to get together, and that was my best part, was just spending time with you guys. So. And to end, this was amazing. I spent Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at the PLC conference. And again, thank you to Dr. Field and Dr. Koselek and that whole team for, we just did a big push on really encouraging our high school principals, all of our principals, to be there with their teams. So during the conference, we organized on Thursday a time for us all to meet. We had over 150 staff, and between staff members and administrators, we had over 150 people. We had them meet in small groups. There at the top, I was able to sit in on Pine Creek High School and the amazing conversation they were having. Down in the bottom, the right-hand corner, Learning Services, and did a debrief. We really wanted to catch people. What are they thinking about right now, right before you go back and you maybe get distracted. And then, as you can see on the lower left, we had a chance for each person in the group or people that wanted to share out with the whole group what were they learning. So it's just really a fantastic time to connect with each other. Solution Tree really brings in the very best speakers, I believe, in the nation. And one of the things that they really stressed again is why PLCs, and again, a huge Thank you to our community and board for supporting those late starts, because John Hattie, who's a real well-known educational researcher, he says, you know, what does have the biggest effect on student achievement? And allowing this time for teachers to meet together, to share best practices, to look at their what they see their students learning, who are the students that are learning, who are the ones that are not learning, how can we work together as a whole team to support high levels of learning for all students. And it has a 1.43 effect size, which in his scale is one of the top scores you can have as far as really increasing student achievement. So when I look at Academy District 20 and the fact that we have been accredited with distinction for so many years, I know it's also been the hard work of the professional learning community. So thank you for your support of that. And that's the end of my SOUP update.
All right, thank you. Next, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy?
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn?
Aye.
Mrs. Yanez?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye. All right. We are going to take a quick break so we can take all those pictures we promised earlier. So if you were part of the spotlight or you were recognized by Superintendent Haber, if you could please make your way over to Mr. Belcher and Ms. Story so we can take pictures. We'll be back in about 10-ish minutes. All right, we're calling this meeting back to order. Next is item 9. There were no items pulled from the consent agenda, so we're moving on to item 10, annual monitoring report for executive limitations policy 2.0, global executive constraint. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding the report? Okay. Next is the MRE. Is the superintendent's interpretation of the policy reasonable? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. And B, annual monitoring report for executive limitations policy EL 2.4, financial condition and activities. Does anyone have any questions or comments? All right. Is the superintendent's interpretation of the policy reasonable? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? I think there was one section that was not, but it was marked in there, right? Yeah. Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance. Would you like to see additional or different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Next is the financial monthly report through October 2024. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Item C, 2025-2026, new course proposal from Discovery Canyon Campus High School and Learning Services. I had a question around the DCC course offering. This may or may not be targeted because of your 10-ish comment earlier, but so on the DCC policy or the course proposal with the art, one of the sections was around tattoos. Are there going to be any, I just want to know what restraints are going to be in place to make sure that everything is appropriate.
What? Gotta get going. Got a fever. So we have a career in art course that's been proposed by DCC's high school, and I think the unit you're talking about is tattoo art. And I think you're rightly concerned about, like, are we giving tattoo guns to kids and having them tat on each other? That is definitely not the case. Really what it is a lot of kids have interest in art and tattoos in our society and our culture, and that is a legitimate career that some students may find interesting to explore. The intent behind this is not to create tattoo artists, but it's to give kids the opportunity to practice the skill of the art that would be translated into tattoos. So there will be no use of tattoo equipment. It will be designing the art that one day they could take to an artist and then translate into a tattoo. But we're not hoping to promote. That was the one thing Learning Services had some concerns about, like, is this the appropriate thing? And that's something that Michael and I just talked about. But no, nobody will be using art tattoos.
I think it's great. I think it's great to explore these options. I just wanted to ask questions.
Sure.
I did see at the end they were talking about doing, like, with temporary ink or something like that, possibly having sort of a project at the end. Is that?
That's a possibility.
And we're going.
Mr. Saul?
Yes, sir. Mr. Wilburn.
If you're finished, yeah, I saw that too, and it kind of jumped off the page at me. On the one hand, I mean, I like it. It's getting outside of the box. It's looking at a potential career path that, frankly, probably didn't even exist 25 years ago, let alone in high school. But if I'm reading this right, and I don't know if I am, there's a number of units, and each one of the units is mandatory part of the class. So in other words, if a kid wants to pursue or thinks they want to pursue a career in architecture, they would also have to take the unit on body art. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're correct.
Yes, and I would say that this is kind of like, think about your middle school exploratory program where the kids are going to go through and explore different things. Not every kid's going to want to become a baker or engage in home ec stuff, but it's getting a window of opportunity to explore it for a little bit of time. If you look, there's 10 unit or 9 units. And so you figure in an 18-week semester, you're looking at 2 weeks. So it's, to your point, Mr. Wilburn, absolutely, kids would be engaged in that unit, but it's not a huge, heavy component of the course.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I appreciate that. So I used to work back during my master's program, I worked at a place, it was a residential drug rehab. One of the kids there, that was his goal. He wanted to be a tattoo artist. He had a gun that was like, he was like 15, and he took a hiatus from our residential treatment center and came back with a really nasty infection. And now long story short, he has a really cool star-shaped scar on his leg now. So the concern comes from past experience.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure. I appreciate you let me know.
And I think we can talk with the DCC staff to make sure that they're not encouraging students to practice this art form outside of safe, healthy standards.
Is there any chance never mind. I was thinking if we could rope Matt into like being a guinea pig on this, Mr. Mitchell, that would be.
I think that'll be a homecoming, a challenge for him.
Okay, sounds good. We'll talk about that. We'll revisit that later in the year. Thanks. All right. Any other questions related to the course offerings? All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Next is annual monitoring report for ends 1.1, knowledge and skills. Superintendent Haber.
We are excited to share with you about our annual monitoring report 1.1, and Dr. Field and Jolyn Patterson will be here to talk about it.
Good evening. So we are pleased, and when I say we, that's myself, Jolyn, Jamin, and Shelley, to be presenting the annual E1.1 monitoring report. And for those of you that are sitting in the audience behind me, that is our annual report to the board on our student achievement and growth that occurred last school year. So the report reflects the board's charge of monitoring global ends statement that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for successful transition to the next level, and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success. Our teachers, principals, and learning services continue to work extremely hard and focus on growth and achievement of all students in all content areas by meeting or exceeding our Colorado academic standards. We are very proud that we are accredited with distinction for the 15th year in a row.
Tonight, we will share highlights and information from the E11 report, including methodology and interpretation of the indicators, as well as Dr. Field, Mrs. Kuzer, and Dr. Pariseau will share additional information. As we walk through the report, we will provide the page number for each section so that you can easily follow along. Before we move to the report, I want to share information regarding the district performance framework. Tonight at your places, I provided each of you with yet another copy of the district performance framework, as well as our historical overview of where our schools and our district have scored over time. Historically, the district and our schools receive a framework yearly from the Colorado Department of Education. During the COVID pandemic, the DPF, or the District Performance Framework, was frozen from 2019 to 2021. And you'll see that referenced within our report tonight. There's certain categories where you see that hold. During our tonight, we will reference the district's performance on the District Performance Framework, which is developed from our CMAS, PSAT, SAT, and post-secondary workforce readiness criteria. 3 performance indicators are used to determine ratings: academic achievement, academic growth, and post-secondary workforce readiness. Information regarding the comp points for scoring on the DPF reporting can be found in Appendix A of this report. A couple of notes to keep in mind: at the elementary and middle school level, growth accounts for 60% of the score on the frameworks, and achievement accounts for 40%. At the high school level, achievement is worth 30%, growth 40%, and post-secondary workforce readiness, or PWR, 30%. You will notice in 2022, growth data was limited due to the every other year level testing in 2021. The 2021 E111 report included MAP growth as a local data source at the board's request. We've continued to provide this data yearly. However, this data is provided for additional information and is not used in the calculations for this monitoring report. As we walk through the report, it's important to note what MAP growth and CMAS are assessing. The MAP growth assessment is aligned to the Colorado academic standards. This assessment provides teachers with the student's instructional level. So this is our district local benchmark assessment that's really looking at where kids are ready to be instructed. This is different from the CMAS test, which is a summative assessment that happens one time a year. CMAS provides us with performance levels, identifying what grade level standards students have mastered. MAP Growth completed a linking study that provides us with predictive data for CMAS performance, including PSAT and SAT. We will now begin on page 2 of the report. ENDS 1.1 Knowledge and Skills Reasonable progress for this indicator is accomplished by meeting at least 8 of the 10 indicators. I will begin with the first indicator. This indicator is measured by an overall rating of the district performance framework. The standard or expectation for meeting this indicator is the same as the state expectation of accredited or accredited with distinction. Academy District 20 was accredited with distinction, so the standard for indicator 1 was met. Indicator 2, academic achievement, measures how students performed on the assessment in the given year. The district met the Colorado expectations for academic achievement. Indicator 3, academic growth, measures how individual students performed from 2023 to 2024. The district met the Colorado expectations for academic growth. We are now moving to page 3. Indicator 4, post-secondary workforce readiness, measures SAT scores, dropout rates, matriculation rates, and graduation rates for high school students. The district met the Colorado expectations for post-secondary workforce readiness. Indicator 5, achievement in English language arts and math. Successful progress toward academic achievement in grades 3 through 11 are indicated by CMAS, PSAT, and SAT results in English language arts and math. We're going to move along to page 5. It's a real page turner at this point. Indicator 6, growth in ELA and math, successful progress toward annual growth at the elementary, middle, and high school levels are indicated by CMAS, PSAT, SAT performance results in English language arts and math. The district met the standard for this indicator. Moving to page 6 and indicator 7, successful preparation for high school graduation and college is indicated by the Colorado SAT mean scale score is determined by the district performance framework. The district met the standard for this indicator. Indicator 8, success is indicated by graduation rates measured by the district performance framework. Note that the most recent data available is for the previous school year, so thinking about our 23 graduates. Based on the standards below, the result meets the standard for the indicator. Next, Dr. Pariseau will be sharing information regarding college and career readiness in indicators 9 and 10 with you, beginning on page 6.
Thank you, Jolene, and it's great to be here tonight. Indicator 9, ICAP, or the Individual Career and Academic Plan, is a multi-year process that intentionally guides students and families in the exploration of career, academic, and post-secondary opportunities. With the support of adults, students develop the awareness, knowledge, attitude, and skills to create their own meaningful and powerful pathway toward post-secondary workforce readiness. The state of Colorado requires ICAP for grades 9 through 12, but D20 offers a robust ICAP program that goes beyond required grade levels, beginning in the 6th grade. In compliance with state requirements, students are given opportunities to participate in and track progress on the following through D20's ICAP program: interest surveys focusing on career and college exploration, establish written post-secondary and workforce SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and timely, intermediate benchmarks and data reflecting progress toward established goals, activities that establish connections between school-based instruction and the world of work, and intentional planning of student sequencing of courses and programs that reflect progress toward their post-secondary goals, college applications, resume development, and alternative work-based applications, and an understanding of financial literacy of life after high school. District 20 primarily uses the Naviance College and Career Readiness Platform to both deliver and manage students' ICAP work. And so for this report, students were under that system. This current school year, we have moved to a new platform, the College and Career Navigator, which has better data reporting structures, has K-12 college and career exploration curriculum, and work-based learning support. Indicator 9's goal is to have 95% or greater of students actively engaged with the ICAP process. The middle school grades 6 through 8 did meet their goal with 96% respectively. Participation for the 2023-24 school year. Regarding the high school grade levels, they did not meet the goal with a 87% participation rate across the grade levels 9 through 12. One of the main reasons for this, being slightly below the goal, is loss of data when we had a college and career counselor leave mid-year who had that data. And so we were unable to count that. So if we had it, we probably would have met it. That's why we've changed. That's one of the many reasons why we've changed our platform from Naviance to a more robust platform system to rectify this situation and ensure that won't happen again. So moving on to page 7, indicator 10. In addition to key academic indicators, as mentioned previously in this report, and in alignment with the student ICAP process, students who are college and career ready upon graduation are those who have developed technical skills, 21st century employability and leadership skills, and have had relevant real-world experiences. In alignment with state and federal frameworks, this indicator consists of multiple pertinent measures which give a snapshot of graduating seniors who are college and career ready beyond meeting graduation requirements. This data represents the 2024 graduating senior class, which consists of 1,753 students. The goal is that the district high schools will meet with a plus or minus of 5 percentage points or exceed 4 out of the 5 baseline data sets established in 2021 for each of the college and career indicators that I'll talk about here. The first one is CT pathways. The percentage of graduating seniors who have completed a sequence, at least 2 years or equivalent, concentrator completion status of courses within a career and technical education pathway or program. This past year's graduating seniors was 30.2%, an increase from 29%, but below the 60% baseline. Reasons for this are outlined in the report on page 8. Work-based learning experience. The percentage of graduating seniors who have successfully completed a work-based learning experience as defined by the Colorado Department of Education's work-based learning continuum, with such experiences as clinical experiences, credit for work experiences, internship, pre-apprenticeships, industry-sponsored projects, supervised entrepreneurial experiences, apprenticeships, and on-the-job training. This past year's graduating class at 15.4%, which was an increase over 12.1 and above the baseline of 7.9. So we're making good progress. Industry certification is the percentage of graduating seniors who have earned an industry or business recognized certification credential as listed on the Colorado Department of Higher Education list and the Career Development Incentive Program. 10% increased this past graduating class from 4.9 and above the baseline of 3.7. College credit is the percentage of graduating seniors who have successfully taken at least one college course earning a C- or higher. 32% of our graduating seniors this past year earned college credit. That's an increase from 21.9% the year before and above the baseline of 21.2%. AP and IB tests scores, which also equate to eventual college credit, is the percentage of graduating seniors who have scored at least a 3 or higher on at least one advanced placement test, and or those graduating seniors who have scored at least 4 or higher on at least one international baccalaureate test. Refer to Appendix C for assistance with interpretation on how that's broken down, but that was 40.9% of graduating seniors, which is an increase from 38.7 and above the baseline of 38.9. So indicator 10 was met as outlined above. The outcomes noted in this data are intertwined with students' ICAP goals. And as we continue to refine our ICAP program and systems around these 5 measures, students and parents will fully engage and take advantage of these opportunities afforded to them. So the statement of reasonable progress is that 9 of the 10 indicators met the standard, so the end achieved as interpreted. Thank you. Now, we will turn the time over to Ms. Kuzer, who will lead us through E111. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pariseau, and good evening, board. Please continue on to page 9 in your packet. E1.1.1 was updated in 2021 to align students' proficiency of tools, techniques, and technologies with the continued implementation of the district digital resource philosophy, which states, digital resources should be used to enrich learning, promote student achievement, and advance students towards deep, authentic learning in a healthy, balanced, and safe digital environment that is representative of the ever-changing, digitized, modern world. For reference, a link for the complete digital resource philosophy and belief statements is included in your electronic board packet as well. The first indicator of E1.1.1 is measured by ensuring that all students have access to digital tools to support their learning. The 2021-22 school year served as the baseline year for the district implementation of the one-to-one district provided device program for students in grades 3 through 12 and a 3-to-1 iPad ratio for students in kindergarten through the 2nd grade. Ongoing district investments in student devices are reflected in graph 1, which illustrates that each student in grades 3 through 12 have access to a Windows laptop. Device inventory exceeds enrollment numbers to accommodate fluctuations in student enrollment and device repairs. Graph 2 on page 10 shows data for iPad to student ratios in kindergarten through 2nd grade. During the 2019 replenishment program evaluation, input from building administrators led to the adoption of a 3-to-1 iPad ratio, a recommendation supported by the elementary principals. Some schools have further reduced their ratios to a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1 through additional device purchases through the site. Based upon the data, the district meets the standard for this indicator. The Bring Your Own Device program fluctuates each year, with this last year 219 parents opting in for the district provided device waivers compared to 175 last year. The increase is largely attributed to the online students at the Village High School because they had been an opt-out or basically an opt-in, but because so many of them were coming from schools and already had a device, we reversed that this last year and they had to basically opt out through a waiver. Access to on-demand devices has also increased instructional time by eliminating delays associated with sharing devices or transitioning to computer labs. Students can now fully engage in lessons and leverage digital tools to enhance learning outcomes. One example I'd like to share with you is the impact on teaching and learning is when every student has a device, as described in an 8th grade video production class at Challenger, where students effectively utilize technology to enhance their learning. After completing a pre-production step, including storyboarding and script writing, groups then pitched their story ideas to the class, as if the other class members were potential producers or studio executives. Using a series of questions, the class provided peer feedback on the quality of each pitch. The next day, students typed a synopsis of their pitches into Class Companion, which is an AI tool that provides immediate comprehensive feedback. The AI feedback was notably more detailed and actionable compared to the peer feedback, allowing students to refine their pitches and story details effectively. This technology integration of AI tools facilitated faster, targeted feedback, reducing the teacher's workload and significantly enhancing the students' writing and revision skills. The lesson not only deepened students' understanding of storytelling and pitch development, but it also demonstrated a valuable role of AI in supporting writing. The hope is that student video projects will reflect higher quality in terms of theme, character development, and plot structure as opposed to previous years when AI was not utilized. Excuse me. The second indicator of E1.1.1 ensures that all students have access to district-funded tools and technology. The district provides funding and robust support for 2 primary learning management systems. Seesaw is for the pre-K through 2nd grade, and Schoology is for all grade levels. Additionally, staff and students have access to Microsoft Office Suite and Google Workspace for education. Professional learning opportunities are detailed out in Appendix D on page 24, and they have been offered for staff throughout the 23-24 school year to support effective use of these platforms. Moving back to page 10, graph 3 represents the number of unique Schoology users for staff, students, and parents. The trend remains consistent over the past 5 years at an average of over 17,000 student logins per month. And the login trend is indicative that Schoology is being utilized consistently. Graph 4 on page 10 and 11 illustrates usage trends for Seesaw, and in the 23-24 school year, there was the second year that the district paid for those licenses, and is for the pre-K through second grade classrooms. And the goal is really to provide additional support and professional learning opportunities to continue and increase the usage and adoption for the youngest learners. The feedback indicates that families value the consistency and the streamlined workflows that these platforms offer. Additionally, the menu of options has grown dramatically over the past few years due to the demand for integrated applications and curriculum. Highlighting the importance of a single sign-on for ease of access. Everybody doesn't have to remember so many passwords. The use of anytime, anywhere digital access to the learning environment has become the cultural norm in the district. Graph 5 on page 11 highlights the utilization of Microsoft Teams, which varies based upon need, but continues to support activities such as virtual parent-teacher conferences, professional learning, and board meetings. These tools have enhanced the learning environment in our ever-changing digitized modern world. So the statement of reasonable progress for E1.1.1, 2 of the 2 indicators met the standards and align with the district digital resource philosophy's 3rd belief statement, which reads, "We believe safe, fair, and equitable access to digital resources is paramount, and that technology and digital resources should be supported by appropriate investment in equipment and infrastructure to ensure equitable access to current tools and resources for all, and provide a robust suite of appropriate digital resources to support timely access to learning. As a result, the end is achieved as interpreted." Mrs. Patterson will continue with E1.1.2.
We are going to be on page 12. Policy provision statement E1.1.2 states students will be proficient in critical and innovative thinking. Reasonable progress is accomplished by meeting the indicator. Indicator 1, proficiency in critical thinking in grades 3 through 11 is indicated by applicable English language arts standards at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. The standard is applicable to critical thinking and English language arts standard 4 focused on research and reasoning. For CMAS, district students will meet or exceed the state expectation cut points as reported by the district performance frameworks, and students will meet or exceed in English language arts. Please refer to Appendix E on page 29, which provides evidence of activities and clubs being offered at various schools across the district. The statement of reasonable progress, the district met the indicator, therefore the end is interpreted as, the end is achieved as interpreted. Dr. Field will now share an illustration of a critical and innovative thinking from one of our schools.
So tonight I'm going to share a couple stories. The first one is going to be from a middle school. This is Chinook Trail Middle School. So students in D20 are learning how to sharpen critical thinking skills through guided inquiry and reflection. One way they accomplish this is by learning how to leverage artificial intelligence with the guidance of our D20 AI cohort. So we have a cohort of teachers. Ms. Kuzer, do you know how many are in the cohort? About 35 of our teachers that are teacher leaders that are providing a lot of learning for additional teachers or teachers back at their schools with the use of AI. They're doing a lot of research and exploration. So this example comes from Chinook Trail Middle School. Many of Michael Steiner's 6th grade math students have chosen to allow a customized chat bot to lead them through reflections about their understanding of percentages by comparing percentages to the coins that add up to $1. As students grapple with concepts, the chatbot might offer the question, what coins might be used to represent the equivalent of 75%? Students made comments such as, oh, $1 is the same as 100%. Rather than one student in class raising their hand while the others just listen, every student had the opportunity to receive feedback and reflect on their own learning at the same time, resulting in a classroom filled with active learning through customized feedback. Across our schools, there are many stories like this. Using AI as a thought partner is just one way D20 students are making learning go deeper. Jolene's now going to walk us through E1.1.3.
So we are on page 14. Policy provision statement for E1.1.3 states that students will be proficient in problem solving. Reasonable progress is accomplished by meeting one of the indicators below. Indicator 1, proficiency in problem solving in grades 3 through 11 is indicated by applicable math standards at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. This result meets the standard for the indicator. Dr. Field will now share a story about problem solving at one of our schools.
Yes, so this story is about third graders at Pioneer Elementary School using problem solving skills to develop weather-friendly building techniques after studying weather hazards. Guided by digital learning coach Olive McRae and teachers Jill Campanola, Jennifer Whaley, and Kristen Smith, the students researched various weather hazards and even explored storm chasing through virtual reality headsets. They then designed and constructed miniature buildings with features aimed at protecting them from severe weather. To test their designs, the students simulated storms to see how well the buildings withstood the conditions. Afterwards, they wrote building recommendations and recorded their reflections to present to a national building committee. The students were deeply engaged in their designs and learned to critically assess which features best resist weather hazards.
We're going to continue on page 16. Policy provision statement E1.1.4 states that students will be proficient in appropriate, creative, and effective communication. Indicator 1, proficiency in appropriate, creative, and effective communication in grades 3 through 11 is indicated by CMAS English Language Arts standards at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. The standards applicable to appropriate, creative, and effective communication include CMAS grade ELA standards 2 and 3. Based on the standards, the result meets the standard for the indicator. Page 17, indicator 2, proficiency is inappropriate, creative, and effective communication in grades 3 through 11 is indicated by CMAS math standards at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. Based on the standard, the result meets the standard for the indicator. Again, we have provided references for our co-curricular activities that are offered at a variety of schools in Appendix E on page 29. Statement of reasonable progress, 2 out of the 2 indicators meet the standard, so the end is achieved as interpretive. And now Dr. Field will share another story.
So this is my last story, and this is the end of our report, but this is an example of effective communication. And this example that I'm sharing this evening is from Discovery Canyon High School. Back in November, the Discovery Canyon campus, they celebrate Veterans Day in a big way up there. If you've been up there, you know. So I was at this assembly, and the elementary school recognizes veterans in the morning with a breakfast. And then around 10 o'clock or so, all of the middle schoolers and high schoolers pack into the gym to recognize veterans. And there are hundreds of guests that attend, which is really impressive. So throughout the assembly, the many middle school and high school students share thanks and appreciation to their parents for serving in the armed forces. And these are such heartfelt messages. There's never a dry eye. That day, Discovery Canyon High School student Henry Kent shared his appreciation of his dad through the use of his assistive technology device and the software program TD Snap. Along with special educator teacher Nicole Lewis McTeague and speech language pathologist Gabby Masclarez, Henry was able to use his device to speak to nearly 2,000 staff, parents, and students in the Discovery Canyon High School gymnasium and share his love and appreciation for his father's service. And I've got from his dad about a 25-second snap here. So take it away, Mark.
This year, I learned how to use my voice, and with it, I want to tell you about my dad. My dad is in the military and he's my hero. I'm proud to be part of the military family.
So his dad sent us that last night. So the TD Snap software is an augmentative and alternative communication mode, which uses eye gaze, touch, and switch-enabled page sets to support people with communication. So Henry's teachers share that he has been learning to use his device to independently state his wants and needs, but he really loves using it to share his favorite songs with others. This has greatly increased his interactions with other staff and students as he will use his device to play songs and get everyone dancing. Henry is still learning to navigate pages on his device, but he is using it more and more every day to enhance his communication. The family couldn't be here this evening. They had another event at a school, but Dr. Lujan and Lindsay talked with the family last night. So that's the end of our formal report. We're ready to take any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Yes, Shandy.
I just want to shout out to Antelope Trails again and Challenger Middle School for the progress that they have made. And we really, really need to be highlighting what they're doing and duplicating that because they're killing it.
Wisconsin.
Just want to give an annual congratulations to our staff for makes us proud of our district for wonderful results. And especially want to point out the college and career readiness, just super exciting to see that growth. I just am thrilled that that high of a percentage of our seniors are getting those classes, those certifications. So it's exciting to see that program continue to grow.
Any other comments? Thank you all for your report. Appreciate your time and job well done to all of our teachers and staff out there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, board, we have the MRE to complete. Is the superintendent's interpretation of the policy reasonable?
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Salt.
Oh, yes, Mr. Wilring.
I apologize. I managed to fall asleep at the switch. There actually was an item in consent that I did want to bring up real quickly. Can we go backwards in time a couple of minutes? This would be item G.
We've already voted and approved on that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you have a question that you'd like to ask about it?
I do, but that's okay. I can take it directly to Miss Allen. It wouldn't have changed my vote in any way. It's just more a point of curiosity. That's okay.
Okay, thank you. All right. Item 2, is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance? Would you like to see additional evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Belcher. How many people do we have signed up to speak during public comment this evening?
2 speakers.
We don't have any decision items tonight, so we're going to do everything together, just move from section 1 into section 2. So I'll read the preamble and then we'll move forward. The board welcomes the comments of our community members. We greatly value all comments from the public, but in order to adhere to board policy and accomplish the work already on the agenda, the board and superintendent will not respond at the meeting. Speakers may offer appreciation for or criticism of school operations and programs as concern them, but are encouraged to exercise their speech rights responsibly, as they are personally responsible for any legal consequences attributable to their comments, including claims for defamation. Please keep in mind that students often attend board meetings. Speakers' remarks, therefore, should be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students, including no use of profanities or obscenities. Comments concerning personnel matters should be directed to the superintendent or board president in writing with your signature. Supplemental written materials can be given to the security guards and they will be delivered to the board secretary. The board president will recognize each speaker, and consistent with GP 4.4, comments will be curtailed if remarks or behavior become inappropriate. The board president may interrupt, warn, or terminate a speaker's statement that is unrelated to the business of the school district, inappropriate for K-12 students, or disruptive to an orderly, civil, and productive meeting. Thank you for your cooperation. One technical note is the microphones sometimes have a little bit of a hum to them. So if you're reading off of your phone and you start to get a hum in the overhead, if you move your phone away from the mic, that should help deter the humming. So just FYI. All right. With that, Mr. Belcher.
And given we're condensing the two sections, I'm going to amend my answer. We have 10 total speakers. So we will start with Emily Beckman, followed by Elizabeth Clay Del Rio.
Hi, my name is Emily Beckman, and I am 12 years old and a sixth grader at Discovery Canyon Campus Middle School. I'm here to talk about bringing back traditional snow days for D20 students. First of all, everyone loves a good snow day. It's good for a child's mental health, and they're a source of joy, and childhood isn't all about working. It's about enjoying the good parts of living in Colorado, like snow days. They also help D20 students who have younger siblings take care of them when schooling is canceled. This means they can't give their full attention to their siblings and e-learning. As a result, they can fall behind in school. Snow days also help teachers because it helps them by not rescheduling a lesson for e-learning, especially when it just doesn't work for online, such as science labs, or some teachers have us keep our notebooks at school. E-learning also makes it hard to pay attention during classes because it's very easy to get distracted in your old house. You have lots of distractions like pets, games, and daydreaming about playing outside in the snow. I started this petition to return D20 to having traditional snow days. This petition asks that all districts have all the 6 built-in snow days in the calendar to be traditional snow days. This would not set back the school year because they are built in. This helps parents know the end of the school year would likely be. If more than 6 snow days were called, any additional would be e-learning days. This petition also asks anytime the Air Force Academy is closed, that D20 is also closed, because how can it be safe for kids to go to school if it's not safe for Air Force Academy too? So far, this petition has received over 3,000 signatures to support this. I would ask D20 to switch their policy converting all 6 built-in snow days to traditional snow days, and every time the Air Force Academy is closed, so is D20. I'm happy to schedule any meetings with anyone in D20 leadership to talk at my petition. Thank you.
Next up is Elizabeth Clay Del Rio, followed by Christy Davis.
Hello, members of the board. I'm Elizabeth. I'm 23 years old and I'm a college student. Today, I'm here to talk about the mental health epidemic that's been ravaging our public schools, both students and faculty, in the best way that I know how, which is to pray with you all. So, Father God, thank you that you are who you say you are and you do what you say you do. Lord, I pray over everyone under the sound of my voice and all the students, staff, and faculty of District 20. I pray that where they are lost, where they are hurting, where they break, and where they struggle when no one's watching, that you would reveal yourself to them in the midst of their tears, that they would know that there is a living and loving God that cares about them, regardless of whether or not they know or care about you. Lord, this nation and the children in particular are undergoing a mental health crisis. We are breaking under the weight of daily life and fearful of the expectations of the future, so much so that some are afraid to reach out for help, seeing it as just another false hope that will dash their heart to pieces once it breaks. This was me. This was my reality. This was my truth, and I knew no way out except for death, which almost took me. I knew no hope until you met with me, God. So I pray that the same way you saved my life, that you would save the lives of those broken in D20 and everyone who hears me today. Because so many of us are too weak to stand, too tired to keep fighting, and just hoping it will get better. Help them to know that they are more than just a eulogy waiting to happen, that they are loved by a God that will fight for them to the death, even while they hate him. Thank you, God. I love you. In Jesus' name I pray and give much thanks, Anne.
Next up is Christy Davis, followed by Jennifer Bergstrom, and then Kat Gale.
Good evening, D20 Board. My name is Christy Davis, and I am the Chapter Chair of Moms for Liberty in El Paso County. Our main goal is to protect parental rights at all levels of government, and I'm afraid to say that I am here in this room tonight because your administration has doubled down on violating parental rights in your district with the non-legal name change policy ACA. I spoke at this podium in October and explained how the original version of this policy violated parental rights by allowing children to change their names to align with their gender without parental approval. Recent changes to this policy still withhold parental consent. Now the administration has added that counselors, principals, and district personnel may confer about children on a case-by-case basis regarding our children's well-being. I ask, is this being done before or after they work with parents? Surely this district doesn't feel they know better than parents what's best for our children. Parents still have a fundamental right to direct the care, upbringing, and education of our children, not a government-run institution. Both TCA and New Summit have chosen to adopt their own versions of this policy with parental consent for a child to change their name because 1, they understand parents' voices are vital first and foremost, and 2, because they disagree with the version this district put in place. I urge this board to pull policy ACA and revise it to add full parental consent before adopting a child's name change. I would implore you to review the versions we shared with you previously or review neighboring districts like D49 and D70, or even charter schools, Monument Academy, New Summit, or TCA's versions. Board members, your parents demand full transparency for you to respect our parental rights and not hide things from us that affect our children. We deserve respect, and I have the right to know what names our children are being referred to by others in public spaces in our absences. Thank you for your time.
Next up is Jennifer Bergstrom, followed by Kat Gale, and then Brett Dayberry.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Bergstrom. I'm a D20 parent and a resident. We saw again last month that this board loves to invite their church family to make religiously fueled public comment. Interestingly enough, these individuals tend to not have kids attending D20 neighborhood schools. So in keeping with the religious theme, I'd like to ask the board, what do you think Jesus would do? Would he flood public comments of a school board meeting with bigotry aimed at school children? To clarify, the term gender confused, which was used by nearly all of the commenters last month, is derogatory. Gender nonconforming students are not confused about their gender. They each know who they are. While the board has repeatedly shown that it is perfectly comfortable permitting public commenters to bully and demean D20 students, I must ask Superintendent Haber and executive staff, are you comfortable with this? Mr. Salt has stopped a board meeting mid-comment before because people in attendance clap for a student who provided public comment. You shut down support for a student, yet you allow bullying behavior directed at D20 students to go unchecked. This is not a parental rights issue. It's anti-trans. Last month, it was about non-legal name change policy. It's also been about bathrooms, sports, plays, clubs, library books, and pronouns. The thing is, D20 leadership keeps taking the side of the bully. In light of this concerning behavior, I must ask, how does insulting trans students help to improve test scores? How does this help queer students to feel a sense of belonging? But we don't even call it belonging anymore. We call it a culture of connectedness. how is any of this helping to keep kids safe, and how is it helping to build knowledge, skills, and character? At the end of the day, this board and executive leadership can limit clubs, remove books, ban flags, and all the other things you want to do to make life more difficult for queer kids. But it will not make the kids any less queer. It will make them.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Next up is Kat Gale, followed by Brett Dayberry and Larry Roa.
Pardon me, we're not clapping. This is your warning. If we do it again, we'll clear the room. Thank you. Thank you.
One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Malala Yousafzai. From 1988 to 1990, my husband and I were stationed in Islamabad, Pakistan. From 2010 to 2012, he spent 2 years in Afghanistan. I received this burqa from Maria Bashir, who won an International Woman of Courage Award that is given by our Secretary of State in a program started by Condoleezza Rice. Education is neither Eastern or Western. Education is education, and it's the right of every human being. I'm Kat Gale. I'm a D20 parent, a resident, a former teacher, a lawyer, and a human rights advocate. Today's brief lesson will be on the First Amendment. First is the right of freedom of expression. It's come to my attention that Superintendent Haberer forbade faculty and staff from our district to speak out against the closure of Rock Rimmon Library. While they cannot do what Aaron Salt has done and say, I'm Aaron Salt, president of Academy School District 20, and I want you to vote for 2D and against 300, because that's using his position to promote a cause that may or may not be directly related to this district. A teacher can go in their personal time and speak about a library. It would be inappropriate for the teacher to say, I am a teacher at Air Academy High School. I'm a teacher at Rock Rimmon. I'm a teacher at TCA, although they wouldn't have been affected. But you unconstitutionally limited their freedom of speech. It's really funny that you spent the first part of this meeting praising the Constitution, praising.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Next up is Brett Dayberry, followed by Larry Roa, and then Megan Gatekeep.
The current D20 non-legal name change policy states, quote, students do not need parental approval. I repeat, students do not need parental approval. Understand that this policy applies to kindergarten on up. The rights and the powers of the school district and its members do not supersede those of the parents. To believe so is ludicrous, evil, and a blatant affront to parental rights. Let me read some words of wisdom that I'd like for you to contemplate. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Ephesians 5:11. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. We now condone what we used to condemn. Billy Graham. Woe to those who go to great depths to hide their plans from the Lord, who do their work in darkness and think, who sees me? Who will know? Isaiah 29:15. There are those on this board who I can assume are perfectly comfortable with the way I'm speaking because they know in their heart of hearts that I'm not speaking to them. On the other hand, for those of you who do feel uncomfortable, I would suggest you look inward to consider if this applies to you. Hear me, this is not meant as an attack, but as sincere recommendation. I heard it said recently, whoever wants the next generation the most will get them. Lastly, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. I ask that each board member not be fearful, but be of sound mind when considering what is best for the students and their.
Next up is Larry Roa, followed by Megan Gatekey, and then Julie Brown.
Greetings. Just again, I don't come up to complain, just want to go up there and give some feelings about Veterans Day that we had last month on the thing. One suggestion that I would make is that since we're using a fire truck, is it possible to get hold of Peterson Air Force Base or Air Force Academy or Fort Carson and have a military fire truck used with military firefighters on? It's Veterans Day. It would make sense. Now, the other thing I was wondering about is how the schools go up there and treat a student that says, I want to be in the military. I want to have a military career. I know I went to school in the 60s and early 70s, junior high and high school. And when I told my counselor that's what I was going to do with my life, crickets. What do we say to a student that wants to give military service to their country? Do we have a program for it? Military is quite a bit different from when I went in. I retired in 93, but you know, nowadays the sky's the limit on technology and that. If you have a student who wants to excel in anything, we've got Space Command now. You can't get more cutting edge technology than you're going to get in those fields. Unfortunately, we're going up there and we're not meeting recruiting goals, and this is going to affect us. Last 2 years, they haven't done well on it. So I'm just wondering, could you ask your counselors, what are you telling students that say, I want to be in the military? And hopefully they're not getting the crickets I got when I was in. Okay, got one last thing, since everybody's wearing Christmas clothes here and that. I just want to go up there. Can I wish everybody Merry Christmas? Just want to make sure. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Thank you.
Next up is Megan Gatekey, followed by Julie Brown, and then Ivy Lou.
Hi, I'm Megan Gatekey, mom of 3, encounter of a lot of change of money this week as our school participates in Penny Wars for Care and Share. All right, now that Colorado has a free lunch program for students, I wonder if we could allow staff to have meals at school if they also meet the requirements for EBT. That's the electronic benefits transfer that includes programs like SNAP. There are paraprofessionals in our schools who would meet that line and are using the food bank to supplement their food. Some are going without food during the day and are having a hard time leaving work in time to meet the food bank service hours in our area. I feel allowing them to access free meals at school would boost morale, increase job performance, and also make them want to keep their job there. It would not be a major cost to allow those meals. Side note, since it's me, we need to pay our teachers and staff more. They deserve a job that gives them the dignity of access to food. How much am I down? Okay. With the need to fill staffing, I feel we need to have more board meetings like we had last year. Not having meetings to get staff approved creates a longer time frame for staff to be hired at our schools. We have half as many meetings as before. I'd like to see us get positions filled as quickly as possible. Looking over the open career spots, we have many para positions and sped staff positions open for a very long time. The site says 30 plus days now, but when I read it a while back, some of those positions have been there for over 120 days. What is being done to ensure that those positions are filled? I don't want to see someone not take a position in our district because the process takes too long. Okay. Oh, in addition, I also like to keep up with what's happening in the district and to see what other schools are doing. And the last thing I want to bring up, it was brought to our attention that D20 does not require overhead fees for their charter schools. District 38, District 2, District 49, District 11 all charge over $239 per pupil. And I was wondering why D20 doesn't do that, as it would add over $1 million in revenue for our district.
Next up is Julie Brown, followed by Ivy Lou.
Hi, my name's Julie Brown. This is my first time coming to a board meeting, so hi, nice to meet all of you. I went to D20 schools and I had the best experience. I truly loved it. And even back then, we felt like we were lucky to go to D20 and knew it was a pretty big deal. So I knew that when I grew up and had kids, I would want them to go to D20 also. Fast forward to now, my husband is an educator and we chose for him to work in D20 so that we could send our kids here. And now my oldest kid is in kindergarten. So it's my first year as a elementary school parent, which is awesome. Everything I'm about to say also applies to the library district, so please keep that in mind. I am a grant writer, and I think I have the best job in the world because I get to take money from government programs and foundations and bring them to nonprofits and organizations in my local community. I was curious to see what this district does in terms of grant funding, and I want to see if I could help in some way. And I was actually shocked to find out that District 20 doesn't have grant staff. It's common practice for school districts of this size and even smaller to have a team of staff. District 11 has 5 grant staff members, and the resulting revenue is significant. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but District 11 received $80 million more than District 20 last year. And I think that not having a team of staff for a district this size is a really big missed opportunity. I'm sure everyone here knows about the property tax formula that leaves us as the lowest per pupil funded district in the lowest funded state. It's through no fault of our own and it's not fair, but we can't just go, oh, well, we need to get creative and find funding actively or do what other districts do and have a team of people to do that because it's not an automatic process. It takes people to do this work. I think I speak for most constituents when I say that we don't accept being the lowest funded district in the lowest funded state. Our students and staff deserve better. They deserve an administration that will do everything it can to bring in funds for our schools and not just throw their hands up and accept being at the bottom. We're better than that. I'm not here saying to hire me or contract with my employer unless you want to, but I am saying that you really should consider.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Finally, Ivy Lou. Don't think she's in the audience.
Okay, thank you. All right, board. Superintendent Haber, did you have any clarifications for that? I know I've heard the comment about stifling staff. Do you have a response?
Yes, I do. I have not and did not and have never directed staff to not attend public meetings. And I and we as an administrative team very much support our staff members to attend public meetings. And if they want to speak as a private citizen. We very much support that process with our staff. And my understanding is with some of the recent public meetings, we did have several D20 staff members that went to that meeting and spoke. So I'm encouraged by that. I think it's important to engage in that process in our community.
Thank you. All right, board, was our business this evening focused on activities that promote and honor our mission statement, our belief statements, and our global end statement that reminds us that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for successful transition to the next level, and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success? Did the board hear information tonight that would require the review or revision of a policy? Did the board hear information tonight that would require a new policy? Did the board hear information tonight that the board would like to include on a future agenda? All right. Just for the board's awareness, the superintendent evaluation will be done in executive session in January. So I will probably have Tina send out an email reminder in the next couple days. I will need you to send feedback to me. I'll compile it so that we'll have that to review during the evaluation, looking for strengths and stretches. And Superintendent Haber has something that she'll send out that relates to her goals, kind of like what we looked at last year. So I want to give you a heads up about that. Also, we have a few birthdays. Happy birthday to Shelly Kuzer on December 2, Miss Thompson on December 5th, and Dr. Susan Field on December 11th. These are all post hoc, so apologies, happy belated birthdays. With that, we need a motion that the Board of Education convene an executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4024B for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions related to administrative policy JLCDC, medically necessary treatment in school settings. While in executive session, the board will not adopt any proposed policy, resolution, regulation, or take any formal action. Lastly, the Colorado open meeting laws does not require the board to make record of the executive session in which the attorney is present and providing legal advice per CRS 24-6-402 2D52B.
Moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cons?
Aye.
Mrs. Shandy?
Aye.
Mr. Wilburn?
Aye.
Mrs. Jenez?
Aye.
Mr. Salt?
Aye. The executive session will be held in superintendent's office, and invited to this executive session are Ms. Allen, Dr. Field, Ms. Haber, Ms. Cons, Dr. Lujan Lindsay, Mr. Salt, Ms. Shandy, Mr. Smart, Colonel Stallworth, Mr. John Stanek, Ms. Tanya Thompson, Mr. Wilburn, and Ms. Yanez. The business portion of our meeting is over. We'll take a 5-minute break to reconvene in the superintendent's office for the executive session.